Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Public Allies platform. I'm your moderator for today's roundtable. My name is Ayesha Sardar, and I belong to Public Allies, as you all know. So while both men and women contract various conditions, some health issues affect women differently and more commonly. Furthermore, many women's health conditions go undiagnosed, and most drug trials do not include female test subjects. Even so, women bear exclusive health concerns such as breast cancer, cervical cancer, menopause, and pregnancy. Women suffer higher heart attack deaths compared to men. Depression and anxiety exhibit more frequently among female patients. Urinary tract conditions present more often in females, and sexually transmitted diseases can cause more harm to women. The health of women and girls is of particular concern because in many societies, they are disadvantaged by discrimination rooted in socio-cultural factors, which include unequal power relationship between men and women, social norms that decrease education and paid employment opportunities, an exclusive focus on women's reproductive roles, and potential or actual experience of physical, sexual, and emotional violence. To talk about these issues and more, we have three wonderful women on our roundtable today. So let me introduce our panel of guests in alphabetical order. Batool Hussain, um, hi Batool, welcome, is a registered yoga teacher with 200 hours from Yoga Alliance USA. She's been teaching yoga for the last 5 years and practicing yoga for over a decade now. Batool also founded the company, the Samadhi Initiative, which provides 100% natural core yoga mats that can be personalized. Welcome, Batool.
Thank you so much, Aisha.
Do you want
It's
to add
my
anything?
pleasure. It's my pleasure being on this forum, and I hope I'm able to add to all these viewers their information. Obviously, we're not really the expert on everything, but we'll try to kind of give as much information as we can so that people can benefit.
Thank you so much. Second, we have Kathleen Gander. She's been in the realm of women's sexual wellness for over 6 years. As a continuous learner, she takes a proactive approach to women's health, using her direct sales business, Pure Romance with Kathleen, as a venue to provide tools to enhance women's intimate lives. Empowerment and education is important and is the focus of her existence. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you, Ayesha.
Last but not least, Trish Whetstone. Trish is the feel-good gut coach, a holistic health specialist, stress expert, and intuitive eating advocate. She became a certified health, life, and nutrition coach to help herself after years of struggling with irritable bowel syndrome. Now she helps others with similar gut issues through nutrition, stress management, and lifestyle change so they can feel good in their gut. Catch her co-hosting the podcast Ice Cream, You Scream within the Feel Good Gut Facebook group, Instagram, and her own website. Welcome, Trish.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayesha. Really happy to be here.
Yes. So ladies, we are going to have some very good conversation, I'm hoping, because I've been looking forward to this. So without further ado, let's get into our first question. So tell me what, in your opinion, are some of women's issues that we often do not discuss or we feel are taboo. Batool, you want to go first?
Thank you, Aisha. So there's so many of them, and to be honest with you, it would be difficult to touch on each one of them, but the most commonly discussed issues that we try to discuss behind closed doors is the sexually transmitted diseases. Not many people would like to come forward if they're facing something like that.
Yeah.
Menopause. A lot of different companies are these days now trying to implement a menopause policy, which goes to show how important menopause is and how lightly it's taken. And choices in contraceptives is the third most important taboo, you can say, which is not discussed. And it's always men and contraception related to men and, like how you sometimes hear people talk about, how it is for the pleasure of men that women have to forego contraception.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to speak on these topics openly, especially in South Asian culture. And I'm sure in a lot of other cultures which are conservative, these topics are taboo. And I think they need to be brought forward, not just in groups of women, but generally, people should be able to talk about them freely in families and in friends so that, we can find mutually agreeable solutions for them.
Absolutely, right? It is so true. Next, Kathleen, you want to go?
Sure, thank you. So just to add to the tools, so not only menopause, but also perimenopause is another element that's not covered, and physical and sexual abuse and how that interacts with women's sexual health. So, 1 in 3 women are abused, girls and women are physically abused. So how is that affecting their mental health? How is that affecting their future sex lives? So that in itself is something that we need to look at. Lots of things right now women are struggling with, I think in general, just because of our current situation. And there's a lot of things that aren't talking about. Just regular stress right now, I think is a big one. Just, being the mom. I think later on we talk a little bit more about this, but being all those different roles takes a lot out of people.
Absolutely. Trish, once you finish, then I'll then I have so much to say.
Then you'll have all your insights. Absolutely.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I would totally have to agree and just say that all those topics that the ladies have brought up so far are so poignant and very important. And of course, I'm going to add a lot from my own experience here in my own niche and specialty. And that I think, although it might seem less important, I think women just don't talk about things like gas, bloating, bowel movements, discomfort, things like that, and how they can be worsened by our hormonal issues when we have periods, and maybe things like PCOS. And the gut really is the root of almost all other areas of our health. About 70% of our immune system is housed within the gut. So it's a big factor in other forms of illness. About 95% of our serotonin, our feel-good neurotransmitter, is also made in our gut as well. So a lot of women's mental health issues, things like anxiety and depression, mood disorders in general, are much more common, or at least commonly diagnosed in women, but they're still taboo. It's hard to deal with mental health issues, especially when culture kind of pushes them under the rug, so to speak, like Batool mentioned. And gut health is a huge part of that. And I think a lot of times ladies don't link that my bloating, although it's common, is not normal. You don't have to deal with that, right? And maybe we should look in the toilet and see how well our stool is coming out, right? And maybe that would be a great indicator for other areas of our health as well. So of course, I think that's a little bit taboo, but so important to address here.
Yeah. So the very fact that talking about these things, people either feel shy, and imagine they're not even talking to their general practitioners about it. And when they don't talk about it, how are they going to be treated? Right? Very rightly, you guys pointed out at some of the things which are not spoken about, like STDs and UTIs. But there are a lot more. Like I came across a girl, I would call her a friend now, because she's going through so many issues because of her endometriosis problem, right? People don't know about it. We are going to have a lengthier discussion when she comes on board and she talks about it, but she's going through so much pain. It is just not physical, it's emotional as well. She feels like crying and she's constantly going through pain. For people who don't know about it, it is endometriosis is when the kind of tissue that normally lines the uterus grows somewhere else. It can grow on the ovaries or behind the uterus, on bowels or on the bladder. It causes pain, infertility, and very heavy periods. So when she has those, she is a mess. But she is trying to educate others about it. That is exactly what we want from everybody else. That educating, not thinking about, not feeling shy and stopping yourself from even like Trish said, talking about your gut. eh, it is a problem, right? You don't talk about it, your gastric issues and your burps. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's fine. You're just digesting your food, right? so,
Aisha,
so
I'd like to say something here because you
go
brought
ahead.
that topic up.
Go ahead.
Endometriosis is very real. And
Yes.
my journey in yoga actually started off with endometriosis. I'm a
Oh.
survivor. So, and I don't mind coming here and talking about it on this live forum. This is like almost more than a decade ago when I was diagnosed with it. I wasn't married at the time. And I remember that it was a big ordeal for my parents. And this was back in Pakistan. So it was very difficult, because I was having immense pain. And it was categorized as, this is your regular period pain, and you're supposed to kind of bear it because all ladies go through it and they're supposed to bear it. So that was one thing. And eventually I got diagnosed. My parents took me to this really, really well-known gynecologist who kind of delved deeper. And it was so horrifying to be told at that age when you're not sexually active that, you have this ovarian cyst in your, left ovary the size of a tennis ball. And it was really tormenting to actually imagine going through surgery and get that operated. But I'm a survivor. I've got 2 kids. So all I'm trying to say here is that positivity is what helped me. The support from my family greatly helped me. And the fact that I was able to get into something like yoga, which helps me even to this date, not just because, I wouldn't say it was yoga that cured me. I'm just saying that healthy practices are extremely essential to carry on with a healthy, happy lifestyle. So, and again, this is coming from a survivor. So thank God I haven't had any issues after that surgery. I had a laparotomy, they call it, because it was so big, they couldn't do a laparoscopy. They had to do a laparotomy. So, and my husband was very, very encouraging, and he was very accepting of the fact that I may not be able to conceive, which I was. But so this is like my story, and I always share it with people, and I say, you know what, you need to have a positive mindset. And what if what if I'm not able to conceive? So what? Life doesn't stop here. We shouldn't be judging or categorizing ourselves with, what people think of us.
Absolutely.
So self-empathy is extremely important.
Yeah. And, the worst thing is people don't know about these issues, right? There are others like, uterine fibroids, and then there is interstitial cystitis, then stress incontinence, and so many more. People get scared. People don't know about this. There is no education around this, and there is no education around sexually transmitted diseases, because even talking about it is a big no-no, right? So anyways, we are going to be talking more about all these issues. So let's go to our second question. That is, can you tell us a little bit about reproductive health issues like STIs, PCOS, endometriosis, again, hormone issues, aging, fertility issues, and some of the emotional concerns that are attached to this, because they are just not physical concerns, right? A lot of pressure, family pressure, and then, relationship pressure from relationship, or, stress from it, and from the society itself comes along with this. It tags along. So tell us also at the end some tips that you suggest from your own professional and personal viewpoints. So Kathleen, let's go with you first.
Okay, so just there's a lot there. That's a big question.
Yeah, it's a packed question. I understand. Take your time. Take your time.
No, I thought about this because I was trying to think what piece of it I really wanted to address, because there's a lot of this that even myself, of being my age and my background and everything else in education, there's a lot of this I don't even really know. So I think that's the first part, is that you have to be almost a constant learner. And as I know that sounds a little weird, but as an adult woman, if you have questions about STIs, endometriosis, hormone issues, you need to research. And the nice thing is right now, I think COVID in a way has kind of helped, because now you're always online, like everything's online, and you're kind of drawn to those outlets, right? And it does have, you're talking about the emotional concerns, sadness, unworthiness, especially for me, a big one in this whole list for me is aging and ageism, because I'm at that age where I think I'm just about past menopause, just getting out of that realm. Yes, I'm 57 years old, by the way. So I'm just about out of that realm. And for my generation, or my, we have the hormone issues and the aging issues. And my tips really for that is to seek what you can, give yourself some grace, because there is a lot that our bodies are going through as we age. A big tip is just positive affirmations, like just always be in that positive. I had to go to my mirror and see what it says. It said wake up, kick ass, repeat. So I go through that every morning. Kick ass, wake up, kick ass, repeat. And Emile Coué, I think that's his right name, he's a French psychologist. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And so even if it's something that, you're not sure of, you're still doing that research, just saying that just, gets your body and yourself thinking about it, and just find ways to stay calm about it. So if you're going into a hot flash, or, you think you have an STI, just calm, these other ladies will talk about some of their modalities that are going to help with that. But just speak to it, speak to whatever emotion, whatever you're feeling. I think as women, we kind of know our bodies fairly well. We trust our bodies, so we know when there's something wrong. So just kind of address it, stay calm about it so it doesn't get worse, and try to not let it go, but like research it and just take the emotional piece out of it and say, okay, this is a physical thing I need to deal with, not a mental thing. Does that make sense?
Oop, you're muted, Ayesha.
Yeah, sorry. That totally makes sense. So Trish, you're next. Go ahead.
Sure.
Let's hear it from you.
Awesome. I think some of the things that you mentioned, Kathleen, I relate to. I think, first of all, as women, you'd think we should know, and we should know about all of these things, and we should be educated as a preventative measure about endometriosis and hormone issues and things like that. And we just aren't. So there is this, and we need to empower women to educate themselves, like you said, on these things, and also know that it doesn't make you, like you mentioned, wrong or unhygienic, or, these things that I think a lot of time as women, it's hard to talk about, like, oh, I have a UTI. Or for example, I'll share my own personal experience. When my gut issues are really bad, one thing that happens within the gut is called dysbiosis, where there's a greater amount of unhealthy bacteria than healthy bacteria in the gut, and we want to balance. And that causes digestive concerns, but also causes vaginal bacterial infections and yeast infections and UTIs. And that was something that I struggled with at this time, when I was also having like uncomfortable bloat, and it just doesn't feel like we have the space to talk about these things as females, because they might be kind of gross and icky. And so I think, first of all, empowering these conversations that they're physical health issues, but shoving them under the rug does exacerbate the mental and emotional ramifications of this as well. And then kind of the advice that I have on this is that all of these issues, whether it's endometriosis or aging or menopause, cause stress, and they're also aggravated by the stress response in the body. So one of the biggest hormones that a lot of us have way too much of being released on a daily basis is cortisol. And that is our stress hormone. And that promotes inflammation, will make these issues worse. And when we're stressed about them, stress really kind of flares up here. So I actually like to share that there's 4 different types of stress that we don't always think about: mental, emotional, physical, and biochemical. a lot of times we think of just the mental and emotional stress, which is, frustration and too many things on my plate. How do I manage my time? But there's physical stress from poor posture and aches and pains and not getting enough sleep. That's stress to our physical body, but our physical environment as well. So having a cluttered environment, or maybe toxic products that we know can manipulate our hormones as well. And then biochemicals within our body. So that's the things that we feed ourselves, like nutrition and water intake and all the things, the ways that we can nourish our body internally, of course, our gut, that will help calm this inflammatory response and help you heal from these issues and manage them much better. So I think just thinking about that, not only what is my emotional stress right now, but do I have some physical stress? Should I try out yoga? Because that ticks off so many boxes here. And I'm sure Batool can address that. But that's kind of my general consensus on how to kind of deal with some of these issues, especially as women.
Awesome. And, very rightly, you said that we don't think about biochemical issues, right? Yeah, those concerns. And we should start thinking about it. Batool, what do you have to say?
My story speaks for itself, though, but I'd just like to add to what Trish said. It was great education, by the way, Trish, about even I myself didn't know that there were like 4 categories of stress, because we always think about mental and physical, and we don't really think about what's happening in the gut. But I've always heard that the food we eat, actually, whatever we're putting in our body, has a great impact on how we feel and how we think. So that kind of basically, reaffirms the fact that yes, food and our mental health and everything is connected. But all I'd say is that I get clients who have issues like, they may have diabetes, or they may have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, endometriosis, or any of the other issues. And they're coming to yoga thinking that it's going to solve everything for them. And that's where I tell them that it's not a quick fix, and it's not going to get them the results they're looking for, because a lot of times it's so many other factors that coming into play. But to Trish's point and to Kathleen's point, it's your mental space. You do things for the sake of doing them. You look for the long-term gain that you will get. Exercise because it's good. Have a good diet because it's good. You quit smoking because it's bad. So look at it that way, instead of setting goals for yourself and thinking, oh, I will only do yoga because if it benefits me and my condition. And sometimes you're not realizing what it's doing in the background to your mental health, to your physical well-being, meditation for that matter. So these are little things that make a huge difference when they come together. But we are always looking at things in isolation, and we should stop doing that. And that's what I tell my clients.
Absolutely. So wonderfully put, all of you. You haven't left anything for me to say, guys. But still, we haven't, I have listed some of the things that we wanted to talk about, like STI, PCOS, endometriosis, and fertility issues. But because of all these issues, there are some physical changes that happen in your body, right? You gain weight, and then the families, or the families that you're married into, your in-laws and your friends and people around you start talking about how you've gained weight, because they don't know what you're going through. And especially if you're going through a IVF procedure, or a process, and you are taking meds, your estrogen levels are so high, the hormones are so high, you're feeling very emotional, and at the same time you're not getting the support that you want. It creates issues. People go through emotional trauma during that time. So I would suggest, more than the person going through it, I am asking the families to be more supportive. I'm asking the families to not judge them, to be there for them, give them that positive environment around them, instead of giving the negative comments. So depression is a huge thing. Women go through it, and a lot of women do go through self-harm as well. So having said that, I also want to say that women tend to have better social networks than men. So find your group, find your girls, find those people who you love and who are ready to listen to you. Go to them, vent it out, scream, use language, whatever you want to do, just do it, get it out of your system. And if you're concerned that you're developing mental health problems, please talk to a professional. It always helps. Okay, so we know women go through all the physical issues, but now coming specifically to a particular issue which is widely found in all societies, in all cultures, body shaming, right? Body shaming is an issue, I feel, due to branding, media, also because of friends and family, because everybody wants to marry a certain girl, has to look a certain way, or want to be friends with a certain kind of a person. And then there is ageism also. So how do you break this pattern? Tell me how you help your clients break these barriers. Trish, you want to go first?
Absolutely. I think this topic is so important. And I guess I'll preface by saying the way that I work through this, and I think how I'll help clients with it, and how you could help, like, again, family members, friends, people within your support system, and even how you could work through this yourself. And first, I think it's eliciting that person's unique experience, because I think that sometimes we assume it's like, body shaming is just like your weight and your size. And then it's not. It's like it's the messages in the media of how we should dress, and also how we should act. How should we carry ourselves in our body? How clear is your skin? How much makeup are you wearing? I think all of these things play into this. How much body hair should you or shouldn't you have as a woman? It's so there's so many issues around this. So I think it's first eliciting that person's experience, offering non-judgment and validation, even if yours is different. Because I think what so many of us women have found is that almost all of us have suffered from body shaming at some point and low self-esteem due to not feeling comfortable in our skin, but we all look so different. So assuming like, oh, you have light hair and you have tan skin, you must not have body issues, or you're thinner, you're more muscular, not making those assumptions, but really eliciting that person's experience. And then I think uncovering those stories kind of underneath that is running through that person's head. So we know there's this thing called the model, which is our thoughts create our feelings, create our actions. So we act defensive in a certain way. We're going to act like we have low self-esteem because we were emotional about a thought we had. So let's say Uncle Joe said, "Man, you're kind of muscular for a girl." You could either think, "Oh, that was silly, weird Uncle Joe, my gosh." Or you can say, "Yeah, you're right. I have broad shoulders for a woman, and I have kind of thin hips, and women should be curvier," right? And I'm not that I'm speaking from any personal experience here, but I think, again, uncovering what was that story? Where did this thought first come from? And how has it kind of played out throughout your life? Can you create a more empowering story? Can you come back to this original thought or these kind of thoughts deep down and reframe them to be something more positive, something, more out of self-love and appreciation for what your body can do for you? And can we recognize too that the media isn't always right? Our friends and family is not always right. It's not accurate. And really looking like skin deep, what our bodies can do for us and all the things we can appreciate. I think doing a little bit of that work is great. And the last tip I'll say that I've done and I've used with clients before is a letter of forgiveness. So writing for a letter of forgiveness for a friend or a family member, or even just society, or for yourself, if you've judged yourself and you've shamed yourself, and just kind of getting it all out on paper. You never have to send that letter, but it can be very therapeutic to just write about your experience with this and see if you can release it, and then slowly over time, build a new story for yourself.
Wow, that's a good tip. I like it. Okay, Batool, you want to go?
Thank you, Ayesha. Trish, you just, put it all in a nutshell. It was so well put. And I'm just going to summarize. I'll just touch 2 points, 2 important ones. First of all, social media has made it really difficult for everyone. And I think when our parents were growing up, it wasn't probably this bad, body shaming wasn't this common, it's because the ideals that are coming out on social media, TikTok, Instagram, with these perfect houses and perfect pictures and perfect bodies, it's making people so conscious and trying to chase something which is unachievable. So I think what I tell my clients when they're coming to me and saying they want to look like someone, X weight number or X body size or like a celebrity or some influencer, all I tell them to do is to disconnect, digital detox, disconnect, because I know that that's the trigger that's causing them to, kind of feel conscious about their bodies. Or for that matter, if let's say somebody has been body shaming them, what I tell them is one very simple formula. You cannot control the actions of the people around you, but you can control your reaction. So if you are comfortable in your skin, if you love yourself, you'll be at peace. And the day you have empathy for yourself, you will never ever feel anyone saying anything to you, because you cannot stop the world, you cannot stop advertising, you cannot stop, like I said, social media from presenting all those ideals to you, but you can totally control your reaction. So go look for the triggers and avoid them. Avoid negativity, take yourself away from it. And like I said, I practice yoga. It really helps me. It's my downtime. I reconnect with, like we say, Mama Earth. And to me, it's the most calming experience. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I get those feelings too, but it's just how you cope with them. So I think coping strategies are what's needed, because you really cannot control how people will act, and body shamers are going to, or haters going to hate. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's well put too, Batool. I'll tell you, we first have to think about ourselves, what we are thinking. We have to change ourselves rather than changing others' thoughts. Kathleen, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so these ladies really covered quite a bit. I think to go with Batool's, everything is perfect and everything is improving. And that's something we have to remember, is that, at this present moment in time, this is perfect. This is exactly where we should be, and we're always improving. The breaking the habit or breaking the patterns is really hard. Coming up in the last few 20, 30 generations or decades, it's been, we had Charlie's, I don't know if you guys remember this, Charlie's Angels, the long blonde hair, the long brunette hair, the perfect looking body and nice big boobs. So yeah, it's hard to break away from some of that and thinking that's how we should be. A lot of companies I've noticed though are starting to be better at, when they're doing their models for their clothing, different races, different heights, different weights. It's starting to stop. It's slow. It's getting there. I know with Pure Romance, when I post my lingerie videos and my lingerie pictures, I have everything from a small to a 3X. And I try to pick memes that are have curvaceous women and have women that look different, because yeah, body shaming is everywhere, and it's not good. And our children need to be taught that it's not good, that everybody is unique and that's who they are, and that's their right to be however they want to be. Yeah, so that's, and everybody has their own idea of beauty too. So, just because maybe in North America we think one way doesn't mean that in other cultures there's not something totally different, right? So it's just remember, keeping that in mind too, that your ideal of what perfection is isn't necessarily the rest of the world's idea of perfection, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely. Agree, Kathleen. And all three of you wonderfully said, write a letter, tell yourself you need to forget what others think, and everybody is unique. But, I have seen this is just not an issue with grown-ups. It's an issue now with young kids too. Like my kids are in elementary and I hear their friends and them talking about, oh, mama, have I put on weight? And I'm like, why do you even care? You're so young, right? So it is, I feel it also comes from us, maybe subconsciously, or I mean, unconsciously. I have been putting something in front of them which, makes them feel that is how the society is, or that is how they have to look. So I take the blame for myself there. And I have been trying to change things. Also, we need to, get rid of these diets, skinny diets, in all kinds of diets that are there, and instead introduce healthy foods and healthy living, healthy lifestyle. Women also need to know that what's shown on media and on television and in those ads is not normal. That is extremes. You have to talk to those models to realize that they are underfed, probably, right? So they're not healthy as well. And tell yourself again and again, just stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I'm unique, I'm so beautiful, right? Everybody is beautiful. So yes, ladies, that is so superb. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm talking a little more than usual today because I'm a psychologist too, and I work in that mental space, and I see so many things happening around me, so I need to speak out. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Like you all know, women are primary caregivers in a family, and they're the support system of any family. Um, Even during COVID, a lot of the stress and the support comes from women, because they're not only working, but they're taking care of home and kids as well. And there is not as much support available to them as it was before COVID. So what are some of the concerns, and how do we help women bridge those gaps, especially in mental health support? Batul, you want to go first?
Thank you, Ayesha. So what I personally have implemented myself, and that's what I tell everyone, is that taking out time for yourself. And now with the way COVID has made us change our lifestyles, we don't have any commute. A lot of us are working from home.
Yeah.
So it's given us back some time. And I call it the big reflect, where you book time in your calendar. And I have to share a funny story. So I have a client that comes to me for yoga, virtual classes basically, but she was asking about some stress management techniques. And I said to her, why don't you book yourself some time, me time for yourself? And she said, okay, that's a great idea. And she probably went ahead and did it. And then after a few days, she came back and said, you know what, Batul, I had absolutely no idea what to do in that time that I booked for myself. And it's so funny that, and ironical, that we have become so stuck in a rut, that we're constantly like that mouse that's kind of going in that wheel, that we just forget about the little things. We don't stop by to smell the flowers anymore. We don't sit outside just for the sake of enjoying fresh air. All these things have or had taken a back seat. And even hobbies, like you don't hear people talking about book reading, yes, but knitting, or the things that we hear people, the older generation, talk about, the things that basically the softer skills that we're losing them. So, and it's hard when you're stuck in that routine. So I think COVID has given us back that time, and to reclaim or get back to the basics basically. So that's what I told her. I said, it's perfectly fine, by the way. If you've booked yourself time and you have absolutely nothing to do, just keep going. Just keep going. And eventually you will realize the importance and significance of it. And then you will start finding ways to keep yourself or do things for yourself. Like you could just sit outside and just do nothing, like really do nothing. But that's your me time.
Yeah.
So, and it's meditation, and that's mindfulness. How we sometimes think of meditation by just sitting in that pose, like the lotus pose, and with our eyes closed. But that's not what it is. It's mindfulness, doing activities that can give you peace, in mental peace and social, emotional peace mostly. So these are my 2 cents, that we should cut ourselves some slack, book time in calendars, tell our family and friends, this is my time and I'm giving it to myself. Go out for a drive, do whatever you want, but that's just your time. So that's what I think, and I've implemented myself too.
Awesome. Kathleen, What do you do?
Oh, I was wondering when we were going to get to that subject. So just like, Batool's got basically everything I was going to say. So I do have customers that do like our bath friendly toys. Let's put it that way. So, and you're talking about reconnecting just as moms, as an individual here, but if you have a partner, I think that is really important too, to reconnect with your partner at the same time, because honestly, having that outlet, the physical touch, the massage, whatever that might be, is going to also help a lot bring things together. I also made a note to find like-minded women, and I know now we have to do it online, but things like mom groups, or if there's something specific, like you like crocheting or you like diamond, my daughter does these diamond paintings now, or you want to do paint pours, find those communities, because I find now, especially with COVID, those communities have gotten more interactive. Does that make sense? Like, it just seems people are responding more, they're being very courteous and being very uplifting of people's work and what they do, and very helpful. Like, it just seems like that has totally grown. I know for myself in my VIP group, I put a funny meme every morning, and I love it when one of my customers and one of my ladies say, "I spit my coffee out." So that's kind of how I like to help the world, is just give them a little bit of an edge, to little different edge to everything, just to release that stress and give them a laugh, because sometimes it's just a laugh that they need. They just need to laugh and relax and just take it a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I will agree with that, Kathleen. Like, we hear so many divorces happening these days because people are not able to stay in the same space. Instead of using it for negative, like you said, use it to, rekindle that love, or, get into the relationship all over again, start loving each other all over again, and know how you've matured from, what you were into what you are. People don't want to talk about it. They feel because the whole family is around you, you have to stay away from each other, or you have to maintain a certain distance. But it's all right? A little bit of cuddling, a little bit of watching movies together or sitting together, it's fine. Just holding that hand together, that says so much, right?
Well, and it
Saying
says so
that I
much to the
support.
children, right?
Absolutely.
Like, because if they're seeing two parents that are totally, one's in one room and they never connect, like they never did a little butt smack, or they never, come up behind each other, what's that going to teach them about the future?
Absolutely.
So when they get into a relationship, they're going to think it's normal, not that parents don't touch, and that parents don't kiss, and that parents don't hug. And that's not right either. And that's a great, way to bring up, all kinds of feel good feelings in your body.
Absolutely. So let's open it for Trish now to give us some comments.
I love going last because I can just piggyback off these other ladies. You both said great things that I was going to touch on. And I love that part. Just our last point here. I think physical touch is so healing, especially, in your small circle that you do have right now, because you're probably not going out and shaking hands and hugging as many, other relatives and friends and things as maybe normal. I think any physical touch is so healing. So I absolutely love that. And I love also one of the things that you said, Kathleen, about tapping into what social groups you have or you can at this time. And I do think things like Facebook groups and online forums have become more accessible, and a lot more people are joining them and becoming more tight-knit. I know my communities online have become a lot more tight-knit, and you can have some really good relationships online. It's not all toxic. So knowing that there are groups out there for most anything from, healthy sexuality, like pure romance, to knitting, to, having online yoga classes more accessible than maybe when you had to go to a studio, and little exercise groups. I think those things are fantastic. So part of it was touching into supports. And then part of it, I want to piggyback off of Batool and just say, know that it's okay to still have boundaries and maintain these boundaries even as things open up, especially if you're more of an introvert and you liked having this time. It's okay to say, no, I'm busy, I cannot get together for our first dinner, if you want that time for yourself. Being busy could be doing nothing and meditating, like Batool said, like if you prioritize that as just as important for your health, physical, mental, and emotional, that's keep it in your schedule and kind of create this lifestyle around taking care of yourself and connecting whatever way socially is good. Maybe you're going to be excited to go out. Maybe you're going to want to stay online and be in your jammies for talks and things like this, And I think just finding that balance for yourself is going to be really great, especially because, as things open up and schedules get busy and maybe you have the commute again, your stress can just kind of skyrocket again. So I would say kind of finding this lifestyle, the pieces during this time, when you've maybe had a little bit more time for self-exploration, create boundaries around that and keep them and respect them.
Absolutely. So well put, ladies. I hope, people take these tips and enjoy themselves. Like, I have many friends. One of my friends says that, they watch comedy where in the me time because they like to laugh. And another couple tells me that, they just sit next to each other, gaze into the sky, the stars, and they don't talk. Like, they have kids. They have 4 kids, and they say, that time, the quiet time that they have is like the best for them. I can understand why. So many of the things that you said, I just want to echo. I want to say, have your me time, listen to music, read a book, whatever you like, just sit there and you can just look into the wall and do nothing. Like, you just want that me time, just sit there. Also, you can have your friends, you can have your own group where you're laughing, where you're like, playing something or you're teaching something, learning something. That is absolutely fine. Internet is so powerful these days. You can connect anybody anywhere in the world. So just make friends if you want to talk about something, or watch TV if you have wanted to learn a skill or get into something you have not had the time. This is the time for you. Go ahead and learn that, right? So coming to the end, the last question I have is, coming from your professions, again, I would ask, what are some of the, like Batool does yoga, and you have a different approach, Kathleen and Trish, you talk about gut. Well, how can they have a overall good health? How can women have overall good health, a holistic view about it? And does spirituality help? We have not spoken about spirituality among women, so does that help? Also, there are a lot of stresses. During stress, people overeat, they stress eat, and so how do you actually address these issues, and how do you how do you bring overall holistic health? Go ahead, Kathleen, you go first.
Well, I know this is a family show, so I got to be careful.
No, go ahead, Kathleen. If you have something to say, we will hear it.
Orgasms. I have lots of orgasms. Life should be an orgasm. That's the title of my new book. Life should be an orgasm. It's just about being happy and being just happy in the moment. I think a lot of people just aren't happy in the moment. And you said, how do you set those goals? Like, just take it, eat. Like, people, I think, sometimes get into this mindset that if I set a goal, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, it has to be done in 2 weeks. Give yourself the time, give yourself some grace. I did Dairy Queen today. My son's like, Mom, you're not supposed to have the sugar. I go, yeah, but I do it once a week. Once a week, Dairy Queen's across the flipping street. Okay. I can't not go. Yeah. So sometimes just doing things that you like, even though it might not be the right thing for that moment, maybe it's the right thing, right? And it's just, yeah. And you said taking time for yourself, meditation, whatever. I think our bodies are very much underused as a source of pleasure. We talk about knitting, crochet, whatever. Maybe you need to like take an hour to yourself and go find, a private spot, your bathtub, your bedroom, and just do some self-exploration. And then that'll just bring up a whole lot of feel-good hormones. And it just will help with a lot of other things. And I know it's a big taboo. It is masturbation month, by the way. So if you're looking for articles on how to do it, we could do a whole talk just on that. Because because that is a big taboo in a lot of cultures, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. That's my 2 cents on that one, because that's what I have at the bottom of my page. Orgasm more often, whether it's by yourself or with somebody else.
Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Yes, I know we will get some comments on that, but it's okay. Women need to talk more about it. Like, if we don't do what we preach, then there's no point in it. We have to be more open about women's health. And if this is one of the topics, why not talk about it? Okay, Trish, your turn.
Sure. I think one of the biggest things that I love to preach about, but also have to remind myself about, is eating mindfully. So Batool mentioned mindfulness, and mindfulness is basically being aware and being present. And I love this for so many reasons. First off, eating mindfully does benefit the gut and your physical health. It prevents overeating because you slow down. You take a look at your food, you eat sensually, and I'm not talking the same exact way that Kathleen's talking about, but with all of your senses. You notice your plate, and actually about 20% of your stomach acid is released just in this cephalic phase we call within your head while you're looking at your meal, or you're looking at your Dairy Queen, and you're saying, okay, even in a spiritual way, you can bless your food and say, I'm so grateful for this. I can't wait to have this food. I'm so this is going to nourish me, or it's just going to taste so good, and I'm so lucky to have it, so thankful for this. And then as you're eating, you actually slow down and you chew each bite of food, and you really taste every flavor in your food, and you notice the textures. And this is great because it does help facilitate the digestive process. You're less likely to overeat. You're less likely to get gas and bloating and discomfort because you're actually chewing the mechanics of your mouth. Your mouth has digestive enzymes. You're getting more nutrients from your food. You can put your utensil down, take a deep breath in between each bite of food. So now you're getting some meditative type practices in here. I always tell people, and I get this a lot from clients, like, I got to work on my nutrition and my stress management. I just can't do it. Well, you're going to eat anyway. You might as well do it mindfully. And this is some time that you can have for yourself. Set aside an actual 20 minutes to eat your food instead of scarfing it down in 5 minutes. Again, it's going to benefit your physical health, but also your mental and emotional health. It's some time for yourself. Brings in some of that mindfulness and that sensuality there. So that's my tip on how you can optimize just your overall health.
Thank you. Batool, what about you?
Ayesha, I always tell my clients and my friends, I tell myself actually the same thing. It's my mantra. I say, setting realistic goals is very, very important, and that's where we fail, because we get all geared up to set goals at the beginning of the year. And by February, I think we're done. And we just, New Year resolutions, I'm saying, to lose weight, to do different things. We should be setting realistic goals for ourselves and try to tell ourselves that we can achieve this, but one step at a time, one day at a time, and think long term, not short term. Maybe you're not getting the results that you're looking for, health or mental or whatever, but you will get there. And it's about the mindset. So if you have the right mindset and you are doing your exercise, or like Trish said, eating in the right way and enjoying every morsel, every bite, eating right, doing your workouts and exercising, connecting with yourself, like Kathleen said, enjoying yourself, all these things, they should be done with the mindset that it's going to benefit me eventually. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. So being patient helps. And secondly, to your point, Ayesha, for spirituality, something that I learned and I started doing prior to COVID actually, and during COVID, I kind of reinforced it, is to connect to myself, and not by sitting in a yoga pose like a Buddha pose, with my hand in a mudra. I try to journal. It's the simplest thing you can do. At night, keep a journal by your side, your diary with a lock or whatever, and just pen down all your thoughts and whatever feelings that you have pent up. It could be a letter you want to write to someone, or you want to say something or vent, and you cannot bring those thoughts out or those feelings out. Just pour them out on the paper. Just put them out and you will feel the relief. Sometimes by putting them down, kind of brings our thoughts right there in front of us, and it kind of relieves us of that pressure. So journaling has helped so many people, and I always recommend my clients, and I do that myself, and it helps tremendously. That's one thing. And then finding like-minded people, like Kathleen said, you can have focus groups with them. You can reach out to people who are like-minded, share a certain skill that you have, and share with them, connect with them. You've got WhatsApp, you've got technology has made it so easy for us, right? So these are some of the things that you can do to kind of, um, like I said, mindfulness, spirituality, and it will impact your overall well-being.
Absolutely. I agree with all three of you. Very important points. Enjoying what you eat, enjoying your own body, loving it. And then all spirituality and having that book, writing and venting out and just letting it go is also so important. Some people, they're scared that, when they're writing, somebody is going to read it and all those things. So that is why you have mental health professionals, you have psychologists, counselors, talk therapists, you have so many business coaches, you name it and you will find them, right? And I want to add a very important thing which women forget. They forget to have a proper sleep. They forget to have enough sleep. That is so important, right? Get some sleep, enjoy yourself. Even when you have the me time, just go lie down, relax yourself and sleep, right? Eating healthy, believe me, Trish, you don't have to tell me twice. I enjoy my food. And I've learned something. Yoga helps a lot. It is a kind of meditation. It is spiritual. It helps you, bring back your thoughts, calm yourself down. And for somebody who's looking at more rigorous workout, there is something called as yoga lates, which is Pilates mixed with yoga. So that is another one which will help you get in touch with your own body. Meditation, it helps with the gut. So I think, ladies, I found a solution for everything now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I don't know if Batool or Kathleen agrees with this, but I feel like when I started doing things like yoga, like really personal movement, I actually feel like it helped me feel more comfortable with my skin. I feel like it helped me feel sexier too. Like I do feel like there's some of these connections here. You can just, and it doesn't have to be yoga. We're using that as example, but I feel like from all of us on the panel here today, like, it's not just your physical health, it's your mental health, emotional, your sexual health. All those things are just so important.
Yeah. And many a times, I've heard people tell women that, sexual health is not important. You don't have to talk about it. But yes, I want to just put a statement out there saying women have an appetite as much as men do. So it is important. So ladies, anything you want to add? This is your time. Go ahead. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the floor is open for you.
Thank you for having us, Trish and Kathleen. It was really, really like the conversation was amazing. And Ayesha and Niru, you both have been so supportive all along. Thank you for having us on this forum.
Oh, believe me, I enjoyed it too. Kathleen, last words.
Yeah, no, just want to say absolutely thank you. I was a little bit nervous because I haven't done anything like this in a very long time. So it was a lot of fun. I learned, Trish and Batool, I learned so much from both of you. Beautiful ladies. You have a great future ahead of you, that's for sure. And just thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you all. Just echoing that, I feel like this was a great group and I was very grateful to be a part of it, learn from everybody, and hopefully connect even with other people who've been listening. I hope you found some value. I know I did, even just being on this panel. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies. This was so wonderful. Just to end it, I want to say, I see two major barriers when women are not maintaining a healthy lifestyle. That's lack of time and health not being a priority for them. So it's no secret that women are much busier. They lead a busier life than ever before and have a tendency to let themselves slip low on their priority list itself. So by staying on top of your health and making positive changes that can last a lifetime, you're making an investment in your future. Furthermore, investing more time in yourself means you are better able to look after the ones you love and care about. So it is time to put yourself first and start a serious conversation about women's health. And clear and honest communication is very important, whether it is with your family, with your kids, with your physicians, with your friends, or with the society. And when you hear something body shaming or something spoken about somebody else, speak up. You can just be supportive of other people and show that it is not cool to make such comments. That is all you have to say, that it is not cool. And speak up, ladies. Healthy habits are the best way to avoid diseases and to prolong your life and live more happily, because like all of us said, you feel nicer when you're doing yoga, eating healthy, and again, you are knowing yourself better. But in the chaos of daily life, it does take a backseat, because you have your chores, work, busy schedules, and so much more, right? But I would suggest exercise, eat healthy food, eat a balanced food is like what I want to say. Take your vitamins. That is also important for women, because we forget. Take care of your mental health by practicing mindfulness, and by also expressing gratitude to things and people in your life. Also very important, like the saying goes, surround yourself with people who lift you, who have positivity in them, and you can let go of the negative people in your life. You don't need them. Make friends and connections and participate in things that you enjoy, and sleep well. Have fun. Life, you're not going to get another life, so go ahead and enjoy yourself. So thank you, ladies. Those were my passing comments, and thank you. I've echoed everything that we have spoken about, but I would love to have this again in future. We will hold another one, and I would like the same panel, I hope. So thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Ayesha.
Yeah, we will see all of you again on Tuesday with a business promotion with our very dear Neeru Padmanabhan, who is going to be promoting her financial services. Until then, take care, have a good evening, and enjoy yourself. Bye.
Thank you.